Hunter and Joe Biden receiving major backlash due to the president's decision to pardon his son. Even Obama bros from the podcast Pod Save America are fuming over the outcome.
Now everyone looks stupid. Everyone looks like they're full of and I think that's the piece of this I am most frustrated with, which is Joe Biden looking like a typical lying politician. And I think that leads to a cynical feeling that all politicians are bad and they're all the same and that this is just par for the course.
I believed him.
Coming.
I don't know. I feel like a fool, you know? That's what makes me mad about it.
Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor, joins me now. Joe, I have a sneaking suspicion you are going to invoke a controversial, sometimes considered Christmas movie, maybe not Christmas movie, but a lot to unpack there. You know what Christmas movie I'm referring to. Die Hard, Joe.
1988, Todd. Detective John McClane. When finally the police show up at the Nakatomi Plaza, when terrorists had taken it over hours beforehand, when he says, "Welcome to the party, pal." Yes, exactly right. I mean, look, this whole notion that we heard from the Obama bros, that suddenly now they have been awakened to the fact that Joe Biden is a typical lying politician. He has been that, Todd, his entire adult life. This is the guy who said that he was arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela as a senator in South Africa. No, that never happened. This is the guy who told victims of a wildfire in Maui, one of the worst our country has ever seen, about the huge fire he had in his home one time that nearly killed his wife and nearly burned his Corvette. And, oh, no, actually, the fire chief said that was contained in 5 minutes to a small part of the kitchen. This is a guy who called Georgia's new laws, voting laws, Jim Crow 2.0. No, it turns out they're breaking voting laws down there. This is the guy who said he inherited high inflation, the guy who said he inherited a mess at the border. And I could go on and on, but we got finite time here. Oh, yeah, if you get the COVID vaccine, you won't end up in the hospital or die. Actually, that did happen. On and on. This is the reflex for Joe Biden. It's the Biden way. It's no shock that he lied because he's been doing that his entire adult life.
But I agree with you. I think the shock is they finally came to the table realizing Joe Biden lies. And it took this. Forget the remainder of his 50-year career. It took this. But Joe, there is one group that is still not on board the let's beat up Joe Biden camp. It's The View. Whoopi Goldberg questioning why Democrats are upset over the Hunter pardon.
He is the president of the United States, and it is his right, and he doesn't have to explain to anybody. This is his right as president. He can pardon, if he wants to pardon Bozo the Clown, he can pardon Bozo the Clown. Yeah. So I'm not sure why people are clutching their pearls while the left is clutching their pearls.
First of all, clip this for when Donald Trump issues pardons, because you know they're going to attack his pardons no matter who it is. But what do you make of Whoopi and The View doubling down on their defense of Biden when even so many on the left are just absolutely done defending him?
Wow, it's the same thing like we talked about before. It's the reflex, right? Joe Biden has a reflex to lie. The View has a reflex, automatic, that they will defend any Democrat that is in office no matter what. The bottom line is that Joe Biden promised he would not do this. He did. And now this opens the door for every Republican out there, every Trump supporter, to go to any Democrat whenever anything happens, or they talk about how they're going to save democracy and no one is above the law. Well, you can't use those lines anymore, can you? Because Joe Biden made sure that you won't. And the bottom line is that Joe Biden, look, he shows that he has zero respect for the institutions we were told by people on The View that he holds so dear as far as the rule of law. He just blew right through that stop sign. And now he's going to go down, Todd, as probably one of the worst polling presidents of all time. He's now at 36% approval. I have a feeling that's going to trickle down to the low 30s by the time he leaves office because almost no one supports this man at this point.
I really thought you were going to get full into Duran Duran singing the reflex. But from one 80s song to another, you're out of touch. Not you, Joe. We're talking about House Democrats. They're being slammed for a deleted X post about affordability. Ways and Means Democrat Committee commenting, quote, and here we all thought you couldn't afford eggs. This is about the record Black Friday shopping and Cyber Monday shopping. At this point, will they ever understand why they lost, Joe?
3 simple sentences, Todd. Democrats learned nothing. I mean, this is so reminiscent of the time when Jen Psaki, when she was press secretary, she was bragging about the price of a hot dog falling 16 whole cents ahead of 4th of July weekend, as if that was proof that Bidenomics was working. It's also why Donald Trump won the popular vote in every swing state and turned all 50 swing states red at this point, because they knew that prices were that much lower under him during his first term. I'll leave it here, Todd, because I know you got to go. According to a massive survey conducted by the Federal Reserve, less than 1 in 5 Americans can afford an emergency expense of $100 or less when using just money from their savings. So, yeah, people are hurting. Democrats don't get that. They're the party of elites right now, the party of the richest 1%. And until they can change that perception, they're going to have a lot of trouble in 2026 and in the next presidential election.
That doesn't even count the credit card debt that so many Americans are in. Joe Concha, thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.